Hold up. Peace and love, family. Peace and love, family. This is what y'all been waiting for. So, welcome to another edition of Moorish TV. I'm your host, Brother Taharka Bey. But tonight, I will not be hosting. The channel will be hosting, but we have a guest host and we have a debate tonight. And with that being said, I have nothing else to say. I have no control over how this format will play out. It's all in the hands of our brother, which he will introduce himself right now. I will say this: if the good King Justice need help because he need to share his screen, say something, I can override and make sure it gets shared over here. And then that's the only time I may step in. That's it. I yield the floor to my brother. Introduce yourself, brother. Take it away. Oh, we can't hear you, brother.
Yeah, my bad. I was on mute. Okay,
Okay.
here we go. Here we go. Yeah, for sure. Peace, peace, peace. I'm Rakeem Shabazz of Wazadome TV. Peace to everybody on Moorish World TV. Peace to the brother Good King Justice. Peace to Taharka Bey. So today we have a debate between Taharka Bey and the Good King Justice. Round one will be is more an exonym, right? And maybe we need to let the people know what exonym means. And exonym is an external name used by people in one language to refer to a place, group, or feature located outside that language's area. So the way it's going to work is round one. Speaker A will have 15 minutes, opening argument, presentation of their evidence. Speaker B, 15 minutes. And then we'll do a 2.5 minute rebuttal after that. Um, round two will be Black nationalism versus Moorish science, which is definitely going to be a good debate. Speaker A again will get 15 minutes, Speaker B 15 minutes, and then a 2.5 minute rebuttal. Round three will be direct questions. They'll ask three questions apiece directly, and we'll do it like that. And so, yeah, for everybody who is, maybe new to either Waza Dome TV or Moorish World TV, I think it would be good for each one of you guys to introduce yourselves as well. So we'll start with Taharka. Let's go.
Yeah, go ahead to Hawker.
Peace, family. You already know it's Taharka Bey. You know, we do critical thinking over here. I'm the creator and founder, as well as the producer of Moorish World TV, Moorish American Muslim Grand Sheikh, National Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America, affectionately known as the Noble Temples. That's what you get. And I'm the People's Grand Sheikh. Let's not forget that. Let's go.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. All right, good King Justice, introduce yourself to the people.
I'm the good King Justice. You the people's Grand Sheik. I'm the people's champ. Yeah, the number one black nationalist in these modern day times, a conscious citizen of the Republic of New Africa. And I'm just ready to serve this Moorish gentleman to my left over here. Let's get it, man.
No doubt, no doubt. So, does anybody want to go first?
Now I'm going first.
Okay,
That's
bet.
what we agreed on.
Okay,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure,
he
for
makes
sure.
the claim, so he go first. So when you start the time, you tell him when.
All right.
But let's clarify one thing. You did challenge me.
No, you make the claim.
I made the claim and you jumped out the window. So
And
let's
that's why
get it
you got to
in.
present your claim so I can challenge it.
Let's get it in.
Don't get shook now, brother. Let's go.
All
Ain't
right.
no shook.
All right.
Ain't
So
no
let me
shook,
let me
man.
let me know whenever you're about to start, because I don't want to shortchange your time.
Nah, for sure, for sure. I'm ready now.
All right. I'm hitting start now. Let's go.
Cool. It's more an exonym, more science versus black nationalism. Which is better for our people? Let's get it, man. I'm coming from real books, real sources, no pseudo judo. And to Hawk, I want to see some of your sources, man. You see what I'm coming with, and it's just a few. Let's do this, man. What is Moor? What is an exonym? The term Moor is a historic, a European exonym with no real ethnological value, as famously noted by the 1911 Encyclopedia Britannica. Everybody that's in the chat can look up what an exonym is and if Moor is an exonym. Just ask Google. It does not describe a single self-defined race, tribe, or genetic population. Instead, it functioned as a shifting label used by outsiders to group together diverse Muslim populations based on religion and geography. We are not Moors, and our ancestors wasn't either. What is an exonym? An exonym is a name by which one people or social group refers to another, and by which the group so named does not refer to itself. That's from the American Heritage Dictionary. But let's prove this with sources. This from the Encyclopedia Britannica. The term Moors has no real ethnological value. Do you see that? Can we read, people? Let's keep going, bruh. The Moors are ethnically a very hybrid race with more Arab than Berber blood. A common mistake is to regard them as a black race. I didn't write this, bruh. As indicated by the old English phrase blackamoor, i.e., black as a Moor. They are a white race, though often sunburnt in bronze for generations, and both their children and those who have lived in the cities might pass anywhere as a Europeans. Bro, let's stop the nonsense, man. We ain't no Moors, bro. Let's see what the Rutledge Handbook on the Modern Maghreb got to say on the Moors. A great deal has been written and said about the Moors in North Africa. The term Moor is an exonym, once again, first used by Christian Europeans to designate the Muslim inhabitants of the Maghreb, the Iberian Peninsula, Sicily, and Malta during the Middle Ages. The Moors are not a distinct or self-defined people, and the term has no ethnological value. How many sources you want, bruh? While the Moors were initially the indigenous Berbers of the Maghreb, the name was later also to apply to Arabs and Arabized Iberians, Europeans of the Middle Ages, and the early modern periods variously applied the name to Arabs, North African Berbers, as well as Muslim or Europeans. Are we Muslim or Europeans, people? No. The term has also been used in Europe in a broader and somewhat derogatory sense to refer to Muslims in general, especially those of Arab or Berber descent, whether living in Spain or North Africa. Strabo, a white European writing in the 1st century CE, cited the term Maori as a native term for a tribal confederation or generic ethnic designator for the indigenous Berber populations located to the west of the Roman province of Numidia. That is the Roman provinces of Mauritania, Tigania, and Mauritania Cisaranius, which covered present-day northern Morocco and most of northern Algeria. The Berber tribes of the region were noted in the classic as Maori, which translated as Moors in English, and related variations in other European languages. Bro, I don't know how you finna try to get out of this. This is Strabo, bro. Do you see that, bro? Strabo, writing in the 1st century, cited the term Maori as a native term for the tribal confederation or generic ethnic designator. That's a European where the term comes from, bro. Let's give you some more sources. This from the Damn Fraternity, Constructing Gypsy Identity in Early Modern England, 1500 through 1700. Speaking about the ambiguity of the word Moor. The ambiguity of the new category of Egyptian is illustrated in how gypsies got intricately entangled with what the West confusingly referred to as Moors. I ain't write none of these books. Terms such as Arab, Blackamoor, Muslim, Saracen, and Turk were often interchangeable with Moor and were equally ambiguous. For example, in the preface to a new dictionary of the Canting Crew, the author noted that the gypsies in Italy were called Zingari or Saracens, which leads the modern reader to assume that Italian gypsies were wandering Arabs. In John Dryden's play Troilus and Cressida, one of the characters was referred to as a gypsy, a Tawny Moor. Originally, the term Moor designated someone from present-day Morocco or Algeria, which was called Mauritania in the classical era. However, English speakers used the term not only to refer to the people from North Africa, but also to residents of southern Spain and the Middle East. Are we from southern Spain or the Middle East? No. A Moor could be of mixed African or Arab descent who settled in the Iberian Peninsula in the 8th century. A Moor could be either black or non-black Muslim, a black Christian, a white North African, a black sub-Saharan African. The term even extended to East Indians, Jews, Native Americans, and the Spanish. Thomas Haywoods, in the 7th century playwright, had one of his characters called a goldsmith daughter, a Spaniard gypsy, a mere blackamoor. This implies that all three denominations were the same, bro. It's an ambiguous term. We need to learn how to read and comprehend. Who does Webster say a Moor is? They say a member of the Muslim people who lived in northwestern Africa. Moors invaded Spain and settled there in the 8th century, but were driven out in the late 15th century. Who are these people that invaded Spain? Since y'all love bringing that up, we conquered Spain. We didn't conquer Spain, bro. The Umayyads conquered Spain, and they had black slave soldiers in their army. This is from Black Morocco. There is evidence that some of the black Africans were recruited in the army and participated in the conquest of Iberia. Y'all love bringing up Tariq ibn Zayd, who was not a black man himself, led by Tariq ibn Zayd in 711 on behalf of Musa b Nasir. Tariq himself was a Berber, and he wasn't even in charge, with a status similar to his predecessor Kusela, a Marla vessel to the governor of Ifriqa, Musa ibn Nasir. The North African scholar Ibn al-Shabat, who died in 1282 in Africa or Tunisia, reported that when Tariq invaded Cordoba, its inhabitants sought refuge in the cathedral. This cathedral was like a fortress and had an underground passage. Tariq sent a black man to explore this passage. He didn't say Tariq was a black man. He said he sent a black man because they had slave soldiers in their army, bro. Let's speak about this Moorish slavery and continue the ambiguity of this term. Moors never teach about the history of the Moors enslaving Black Africa, from Moulay Ishmael and the Black Guard to the Haratine to the Ganawa to Ahmed Baba writing an entire Islamic law on which Black tribes could be enslaved. Look up these terms, y'all. Haratine. The Haratine are an ethnic and social group of Black African descent living in the Western Sahel and southwestern Maghreb, particularly in Mauritania, Morocco, Algeria, and Western Sahara. Historically marginalized as descendants of freed or enslaved laborers. The Ganawa are a Moroccan ethnic minority and spiritual community composed of the descendants of enslaved Black West Africans, historically brought across the Sahara Desert via the trans-Saharan slave trade. They created a distinct identity that preserved their sub-Saharan African heritage within Moroccan society. The term Ganawa itself is believed to derive from the Amazigh Berber word Aganal, which means black person. It don't mean Moor, fam. Ahmed Baba, a Sanhaja Berber scholar of Timbuktu who wrote the Miraj al-Suj, an Islamic law that gave permission on which groups of people could and could not be enslaved. The Black Guard, the corpse of Black African slaves and slave soldiers assembled by the Alawi Sultan Moulay Ishmael ibn Sharif. This is Moorish history you're never going to get from no Moors. It's going to blow their whole ideology out of the water. This is from the kernels of Mauritania. I'm telling you, I'm coming from real books. The second group is traditionally nomadic, speaking about the populations of Mauritania. Also, Bedain, meaning white Moor tribes who live mainly in the north. The Bedain are light-skinned descendants of Arab tribes who in the early centuries of Islam migrated from the Arab Peninsula and settled in large areas of northwest Africa. Bro, do you see that? Let's go down. The polities that resorted in from this settlement engaged in trans-Saharan commerce and other activities with their Black neighbors to the south, including wars of enslavement. The third ethno-cultural group is Haratine, or Abid, meaning slaves, bruh. The largest group, estimated between 40 and 50% of the population. Its members are freed and still enslaved descendants of enslaved Black Africans who identify culturally and psychologically with their former or current Bedain Moor masters. Can we read? I did not write none of this, bro. Like, let's stop it, bro.
5 minutes left.
This a man from this land speaking about how he got there, bro. Can y'all hear that? Can you hear it?
Let me hear. Play it. Cannot hear it.
You can't hear it?
Maybe you could a little bit. Maybe turn it up. I paused your time.
You still can't hear it?
A little bit.
Now we're not doing no pausing. Let's go, bro.
All right, come on, I'm good, man. You see
All right.
this, bro? They got the subtitles on it. He say, "My father was stolen from the Sudan, from the town of Bambara, bro. This is a black man in Morocco telling you what his status is, bro. We ain't no damn Moors, bro. Like, bro, y'all need to quit teaching this nonsense, bro. Ganawa most likely derives from the Berber word Ganawi, which is connected to the skin color. It means black man, in contrast to the light-skinned Berber in Sanhaja language. Ganawa derives from the root word Ganau, meaning black, bro. Like, bro, start teaching real history, fam. This speaking about the songs that the Ganawa sing and where they really come from. It says, oral history preserved in Ganawa songs contains names from West African people and places that confirm their diverse origin. For instance, one particular song with the refrain using La La Yama, our mother, to stress a feeling of melancholy recalls the different ancestors of the Ganawa: Sudani, Fulani, Bambari, Hausawi. We can thus name among the ancestors of the black Moroccans of today the Sanike, the Bambara, the Fulana, and the Hausa. Bro, they not Moors. They people from West Africa that got enslaved. The Miraj al-Sud from Ahmed Baba. Baba went so far as to make a list of lands and the people who were enslavable and those who were not. According to Baba, the lands south of the Muslim Black Africa, such as Kano, Casino, Gobir, Songhai, the majority of the Fulani, and the people of Mali, civilizations considered paganistic were the only kingdoms under the threat of jihad. He named these groups that Muslims could lawfully enslave without questioning, the like of the Mosi, the Gurmi, the Busa, the Borgo, the Dongo, the Kotakoli, the Yoruba, and the Tombo. This who we really come from, bro. We ain't no Moors and our ancestors wasn't no Moors, bro. Muley Ishmael enslavement of free black Muslims on an enormous scale served as an injustice to the historical record, bro. This speaking about the Black Guard. Muley Ishmael's project created a racial classification for enslavement that went against the tenets of the Quran because free black Muslims were enslaved simply because they were black. Let's stop teaching this nonsense. More surprised than a Negro village. Do you see this, bro? Teach this is the history. This Mungo Park who went to Africa, he was frequently taken for a Moor and laughed at by the Negroes on account of his sad plight. At other times, he was rejected as a white man. If he was taken as a Moor, how can we be Moors? You got somebody in your family that look like that? I don't. It's shaking at the Diop. Only during the Almoravid movement of the first half of the 11th century did some white people, Berbers, attempt to impose Islam on Black Africa by force of arms, bro. Let's start teaching real history, bro. In 1062, the Moroccan-based Albury set up to subjugate the kingdom of Ghana in the Western Sudan. That's the Moors, bro. This the tribes we really come from. Tribes and ethnic groups we really come from that are not Moors at all. Their rulers and when they reign. Orunmayan from Ile Ife, Yoruba, not Moors. Mansa Musa, Mali Empire, Malinke, not Moors. Soni Ali Bur, Songhai, Songhai, not Moors. Askia Muhammad, Sonike, not Moors. Shamba Balangongo, the Kuba Kingdom. Bashango, not Moors. Biton Koulibaly, Bambara, not Moors. Y'all got to stop teaching this nonsense to our people, bro. And that's what I'm here for, bro. We are not Moors. Let's go to the second round, bro. I'm through with that. Moor is definitely an exonym, and we are not no Moors, fam.
All right, Tom. Okay. Let me know whenever you're ready, Taharka. And you guys remember we'll have a 2.5 minute rebuttal after Taharka goes. So make sure you save your, not your questions, but make sure you save your points if you need to. Let me know when you're ready, Taharka.
Oh, there you go. Okay, you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
we can hear you.
Okay. I was trying to get my sound right. All right, I'm ready.
All right. Hitting. All right, there goes your time.
Okay, real quick, family. I'm not here to discuss who the Moors enslaved, how slavery happened. I'm not really here to discuss that. I'm here to discuss one thing. There is more an exonym. An exonym, let me remind you, a name by which one people or social group refers to another by which the group so names does not refer. Now I want you to remember what he said. He said Strabo said the natives call themselves that. And I think he's a little bit, I think he's a little bit, he misunderstands what native mean. Native mean indigenous. Native mean of the land. He said the natives called themselves Maori by Strabo. Anyway, Evan does a classic TikTok copy and paste scholarship. So I want you to pay attention to true scholarship. I'm gonna take you back. Unfortunately, many scholars copy and paste European expression of history within certain time periods. Many fail to go back as far as they could research to get the accurate information. Today I will do just that. This is what the original Moor looked like. Now, many might ask, how did the Moor end up looking like the lady on the left when there's a Moor that is on, I mean, the lady on the right, but there's a Moor on the right, on the left. Now, if you want to go look this up, this is called All About Interesting. All That's Interesting. This is a portrait of a Berber woman. Just remember the name Berber is a name given to people of North Africa. Now, so how do you get the light-skinned Berber or the European-looking Berber and the dark Berber? How do you get that? How do you get that? Well, the original North African looks like the lady on the right. The original North African, who are the indigenous people of North Africa? Let's read. The indigenous people of North Africa are Amazigh or Amazigh, often known as Berbers. They differ from other populations of North Africa by culture and their language, Tamazight, which has its own alphabet, Tefna. Amazigh people have a diverse dialects. Now, I don't want to waste too much time there, but this is the original dark olive people. Now, let me show you what happened to people that made the people go from dark to light. It happened all over the place. It happened to Egypt. It happened everywhere. In 146 BCE, Rome completely destroyed Carthage during the Punic Wars and took over North Africa. Instead of wiping out the population, Rome integrated them, which means that Rome amalgamated with the people. They took the women, you know what I mean, and had babies. And so then you have the one that looks like this in where we at in Tunisia. This is a president of Tunisia at one time. We know who he is. You remember who he is? In Libya. The reason why he looked like that is because the Europeans that ran down on Carthage and took over, they had babies. This is what happened. And this is what Algeria president looked like. The reason they look like this is because the Europeans from Rome came down, and when they threw Carthage over, they took over and they spread their seed. Now, I got his own slide right here. He said, what is Moor? What is an exonym? And he explained what an exonym is, but he goes on to use European timelines to tell us who a Moor is. But I'm going to tell you who a Moor is for real. He mentioned Strabo, and he says Moor is a native term. However, he obviously don't know what native mean. He obviously don't know what native mean. You follow what I'm saying? The original indigenous habitant. He don't know what native mean because he said it himself. Now, let's get to the beginning of it. The indigenous Amazigh Berber lexical, a Moor. That is the original term of Moor. It comes out the Amazigh Berber language, but we're going to break it down. We're going to break it all the way down. And then you got renditions of Greek, Moorish. Then you got Latin, which Latin was developed. Latin adopted the original Maori term, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. They adopted it. It's not a Latin word. Strabo observation, Maori was also used by the that's supposed to be population, native inhabitants. Medieval Latin, Mori, Moorish, and Spanish, Moro. That's where you get Morocco, Morocco. It's just a different variation. Portuguese, Moro. Italian, Moro. French, Moor, Mori. English, Moor. Let me go down further. Now, what I want you to understand is grammar and variations of the Tefna or the Amazigh language. Now, if we spin this around, this is the glyph that makes the Moor, the original word Moor. Don't it look like a man with a fez? See that tassel on the top there? Don't it look like when you spin it around? But it don't. But it lays sideways. See the beard right there? See the smile? That's just a joke. You know what I mean? Let me spin him back around because that's the original word right there. If you look at Moor right there, part, share, territory. That's where the word derives from originally. But we're going to go right here. Let's go down right here. So what would happen is ancient Moorish territory, the ancient Moorish territory known historically as Mauritania. Now, we're not talking about the Mauritania in West Africa at this point, although it did flow all the way down there. That's why we say Moors are descended from northwest and southwestern shores of Africa. But let me stay right here for a minute. We're located in the Western Maghreb regions of northwest Africa. This historical territory does not overlap with modern country of Mauritania. That's the West African place. Instead, it stretched across what is now northern Morocco, western and central Algeria. The territory was bounded by the Mediterranean Sea to the north and the Atlas Mountains that is to the south. That's why I use the Atlas man for my logo on Moorish World TV. But anyway, let's get to the term Maori. The term Maori and Moor is synonymous. Linguistically, the evolution of Maori to Moor. Ancient North African Maori. Now, I'm gonna prove this in a second. I'm gonna prove this in a second. Classical and late Latin. It grows down to classical and late Latin. Now, and like I say, the Latin would use the term Maori. Remember, Mauritania, Maori. But we're not talking about the West African Maori. We're talking about the North African Mauritania. And then Old French, Moray, Spanish, Portuguese, Morto. That's where you get Morocco. Yeah. English, Moor. Or more. All right, y'all with me now. Press the 7 if you're with me. Morocco is an Amazigh name. It is Angelicized version of Marrakesh. Now, I'm using the word just to help you to understand what I'm saying, because I'm taking it from the Amazigh word Amor, a Kush, which means land of Kush. Many people thought that was Islamic, Marrakesh, but Marrakesh is not Islamic. It grows out of Amor, a Kush. That's where you get Mauritania from. All right. Now, Numidia equivalent, then the pre-Islamic name Morocco is Mauritania. I mean, I hope I'm not moving too fast for you. I hope I'm not moving too fast for you. Somebody said, where can I get this information from? I'm looking at the thing too. All you got to do is Google anything that I'm saying. And I'm going to give you some sources in a minute, though. Just stand by. Watch, which surely you know about Numidian history. All right. Now, an exonym and a synonym is a foreign established non-native name for a group of people. Remember, we're going to stick to it's supposed to be foreign. Now I'm going to slow down cryptonomics. I see you, brother. King Baga was completely independent of both Romans and Greeks during his reign around 225 BC. His kingdom of Mauritania was fully sovereign, self-governing Berber state. Independence from Rome, a sovereign ruler. So before the Rome came in to Carthage, he was already ruling under the name Mori. All right. Rome had absolutely no control over Mauritania. I'm going to say it again. Rome had absolutely no control over Mauritania. I'm going to give you sources in a minute. Hold on. During Baga time, he ruled his own people, commanded his own army, and made his own laws. Equal alliance, not subservient. So whenever he was aligned with somebody, it was an equal thing. When Baga interacted with Rome for the Second Punic War, it was an independent neighbor. All right. It was an independent neighbor. There is no historically recorded kings who ruled Mauritania before King Baga. In other words, Mauritania, North Africa, Baga was the very first ruler. Nobody named it Mauritania outside of these Mauritanians, this Maori tribe. The kingdom of Mauritania came in existence in 225 BC in the 3rd century. Its inhabitants came from Berber ancestry, and we know that Berber is maybe an exonym, based on a modern day ethnic taxonomies, and currently it belongs to western part of present day Algeria. Let me stop right there. If you want to look that up, go look at www.thinkafrica. Let Africa speak. Go look that up. But I got to go because my time is spinning. Now, here we go. African. If you mean African, North African ruler, the evidence strongly supports that King Baga was African. Let me say you why I put that like that. Because they always trying to make these kings in North African European. But European had not touched what we call Mauritania. What we call Mauritania. Okay, let me go a little bit faster. Let me go right there. So here goes Titus. This is Titus. Titus said, and let me just go down to the highlight. Therefore, from that point, he sent back to Moori their king, as it had been agreed. And although the numbers had joined him were considerably smaller than he had hoped for, and not such quite there to attempt a great venture. What this is, you can check the History of Rome, book 29, where Titus identified the Moori people as an independent people. And in fact, let me read the top line. And Messina, having heard the death of his uncle, and then his uncle had fallen, crossed over from Spain to Mauritania, Baga, at that time, the king of Moori. He was the king of Moori with no interaction of other people. Strabo distinguishes what the Greeks called the people from what the Romans and the natives themselves called themselves. All right, Strabo. And you can find that Strabo in the book Geography. Here dwell the people called by the Greeks Morusi, and by Romans and natives Moori, and by natives Moori. All right, you can find that Strabo. The natives called themselves Moori because it's a tribe. Now, if I can go, let me see if I can get something real quick because my time running. Okay, so if you check Levy, Levy identified Baga as the king of the Moori, which is an original name. Moori, indigenous North African ethnonym, not exonym, an ethnonym. Strabo explicitly says that Moori was the name used by native. In fact, not only Strabo said it, the brother said it himself. Not only did Strabo said it, the brother Justin said it himself, that the native used the name Moori. Where did they get the name Moori from? They got the name from a Moor. They got the name from Baga. Come on, brother. Come on. So here we go. Baga 225, the king of Mauritania, Moori cavalry, Moori kingdom, indigenous North Africa. Later, Roman Moori. Romans adopted it. What are you talking about? Medieval. They adopted it, brother. They didn't name it. They adopted it. Baga is a Moor as it relates to historical continuity. Moori, Moor terminology. Now, we can get to any other thing you want. And if you want to check that out, check out Mauritania Encyclopedia, since he liked to use Cyclopedia, 1934. Now, let me tell you one thing. He also said that you could Google and you can do Chat GPT. I heard him say it. And so just Google Moori according to Strabo, the native name did the natives call themselves Moori? Please explain. In his famous book Geography, now let me slow it down one more time. In this famous book Geography, the ancient Greek scholar Strabo of Amasia noted that the native people of North Africa used the name Moori for themselves. They didn't adopt it. They got it from Baga. Here dwell a people from the Greeks called Mauritians, and the Romans and the natives Moori. It proves Moori is an autonym. An autonym is a name a group of people calls themselves. So I'm not arguing about the slave thing. I'm not arguing about what the Moors have done. I'm only arguing that it's not an exonym. And if you go look up past the 15th century, you keep looking up these 15th century scholars. You keep looking up these copy and paste scholars, and they copying Europeans' rendition that try to erase our history. If you go back further, you're going to see that the Moori was dark-skinned people. And the only reason that they got light is because when Rome overthrew Carthage. And then if you want to know how did they get down the south on the west side, because how do you think Mansa Musa became a Muslim? Because the Berbers came down. Who was the first one that was enslaved in West Africa? It was a Moor. Enslaved by the Portuguese. What was he doing down there? That's how Islam, because they was trading in West Africa. And this is how the Moors would get transferred into slavery into the United States, because we was a part of the Mali Empire. We was a part of the Mauritanian Empire or the Moroccan Empire. We was all brothers and sisters, but you have allowed the European to come in to act like we different. You think Europeans live in North Africa? No, they occupied it, just like they occupy Egypt, just like they occupy Mexico, just like they occupy everywhere else. Peace.
All right, so that's first round of a more is more an exonym. So now for the rebuttal, good King, I'll give you 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and then we'll get a rebuttal from Taharka.
All right, first of all, it's Amazi, not Amazai. Second of all, Gaddafi is a Bedouin Arab, not a native fucking Libyan, man. Like, bro, you need to do some real history. This is what I'm talking about the
Brother,
Moors.
are you gonna ask
Third
me
of
a
all,
question, bro?
third of all, no, it's a rebuttal. It ain't asked the
Oh, it's
Harker
the
a
rebuttal.
question.
Okay,
It's
okay, my bad.
rebuttal, bro. Third of all, Malinke, Mansa Musa are not Moors, bro. Mali, Ghana, and Songhai been going to war with the Moors since they came into that land. We are not Moors. Third of all, Berber is also an exonym meaning barbarian, fam. Like, bro, y'all need to understand real history. The tribes we come from, the Fulani, the Yoruba, the Igbo, the Isan, the Ibibio, not Moors. Songhai, Malinke, not Moors. Bambara, not Moors. Fourth of all, you ain't show not no sources. In that encyclopedia you showed was from 1934. The one I showed was from 1911 that specifically said Moor has no ethnological value. It is an ambiguous, fluid term. Fifth of all, you said Maury. We talking about Moor. Is Moor an exonym, bruh? And I yield, bro. Like, bro, it's insane, dog. Go ahead.
Are you ready
All
for me,
right,
brother?
Tom, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
Now, this brother talking about that I'm talking about Maury and Moor. What I'm telling you is that it's developmental. It comes from Maury to Moor. That's how it developed. It's no different than Hawaii being Aloha. You know what I'm saying? It's no different. It develops into Moor. I just gave you the transition, but you want to act like you don't know the transition that I gave you. You want to act like you don't know the transition, but I'm going to give you a little bit more transition because when you talk about Muslim in West Africa, centuries before African Muslim was forced to colonial America, Islam made its way to West Africa through traders, merchants, scholars, and religious teachers. Beginning in the 9th and 10th century, Amazigh, I thank you for correcting me, commonly known as Muslim Berbers. We know that Berber is an exonym, but we're talking about Maori as it developed into Moor. Traveled in trading caravans from North Africa across the Sahara to the Western Sudan, attracted by the tremendous gold deposits of the region's Islam inroads in West Africa, developing through multiple paths. First, the merchant transaction between West Africans and predominantly Arabic-speaking North African traders. The second path was the presence of the merchant scholars in the urban centers of Western Sudan, who performed services and administrative tasks useful to West African kingdoms. Merchant scholars' ability to read and write made them valuable to West African kings. We did business together. All of us was brothers and sisters doing business together, and you can find this musliminwestafrica.com. Now, let me go one more. When you talking about Mali, you said Mansa Musa was not a Moor. I never said he identified as a Moor. What I said was they were coalitions. Let me say it now. They were coalitions. At the time of Mansa Musa's ascension to the throne, Mali in part consisted of a territory, the former Ghana Empire, which Mali had conquered. The Mali Empire consisted of land that is now a part of Guinea, Senegal, Mauritania. They were all family, King. Gambia and modern state Mali. Let me say it one more time. Mali Empire consisted of a land that was now a part of Guinea, Senegal, Mauritania, Gambia. This is why they could go and get the Moors down there. You understand what I'm saying? See, the Moors was a confederacy up north, and they was identified as a sovereign power. And so they were identified different from native tribes because they moved a little bit differently, but it didn't make them different. Now, let me remind you again. Let me give you the breakdown before you get lost in the sauce before my time is up. The breakdown is very clear that it goes and it travels from one term to another. All right, it travels from one time to another
Time,
linguistically.
time. Now, I want to first round, good stuff for both of you guys. So I want to let you guys know to remember. Third round will be question and answer, direct question and answer. So if you don't get anything off, if you don't get everything off in the first and second round, and you got a question that you want to ask the person you're debating, make sure you lock that in. All right. So round two will be Black nationalism versus Moorish science. Again, this will be 15 minutes. And so the premise, for those who may not know, is what is better for our people, black nationalism or Moorish science? All right. And so let me get my time ready. All right. Let me know whenever you're ready, Justice, and I will start your
Do I
time.
need to do the screen share thing again?
Oh, you ready? If he couldn't do it,
Yeah.
I do it. Let me see. All right, there you go.
All right.
Oh, well, hold on. Let me see. You can see the PowerPoint again.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, cool. Tell me when to start.
All right. I
You
hit the
good?
time. Let's go.
Cool. Which is better for our people, more science or black nationalism? What is black nationalism? What is the biggest threat to the American system that keeps our people disenfranchised? What was the government, COINTELPRO, against? Black nationalism. Moorish disunity. How can you expect us that don't see ourselves as Moors to add on to your movement when those that do see themselves as Moors are disunited? Who fought and built the most for our people? More scientists or black nationalists? Which ideology had more prominent members? This is what we finna break down, my lord. What is black nationalism, especially in the U.S.? And this is Oxford. Advocacy of or support for unity and political self-determination for black people, especially in form of a separate black nation. Proponents of black nationalism. What did Malcolm say? Let me know if y'all can hear.
Not really.
Oh, it's all good. He say we intend to make the philosophy of black nationalism a living reality, bruh. Malcolm ain't never say we need to use more science to get free, bruh. College. We must put black nationalism back on the table. Like, bruh, this needs to stop, bruh. Everybody that was hard came in the name of black nationalism. This Martin Delaney, when he was trying to recruit soldiers for the Civil War, this poster says black national defenders. The state of Connecticut is authorized to raise colored troops in any number of her quota. 5,000 may be colored men from the 29th Regiment of Connecticut Volunteers is now being formed at Camp Buckingham, composed entirely of colored men located at the beautiful city of New Haven, the seat of Yale University. State bounty, 200 cash in the 1860s. Bro, where was the Moors then, bro? What did y'all do for us ever, bro? This Marcus Garvey. He said, be assured that I planted well the seed of Negro or black nationalism, which cannot be destroyed even by the foul play that has been meted out to me, bro. Let's stop it. Y'all love to bring up Garvey and Drew Ali talking about he was the forerunner. Well, Garvey wrote a letter to Leonard Smith, who was the head of the UNIA in Detroit, and Garvey said about Noble Drew Ali, I know nothing of the man you referred to. It is silly for people to allow every unknown person to agitate and influence them on such serious matters. I have spoken and written enough for the people of Detroit to understand the purpose of organization and not allow strangers to decoy and exploit them by calling on or using my name. Did Garvey ever use Noble Drew Ali name, or did Drew Ali use Garvey name? Yeah, let's examine the files, bro. Moorish disunity. We speaking about which ideology is better. All these people are Moors. You got Sharif Bey, Taharka Bey, both who are grand sheiks. Neither one of them work together. Sharif Bey hopped in my comments and said I was going to win this debate. Why would you do that to your own brother? And why would I join y'all movement after knowing this, bro? You got Dolo. I fuck with your hand movements, Dolo, but you pseudo, brother. I'm sorry. You got Taj Tariq Bey and Sabir Bey, masters of pseudo information, bro. Why would we get down with this, bro? Let's move on. Moorish lies. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship between Morocco and the United States of America was signed in 1786 by Muhammad III when our ancestors was on plantations in America. That treaty had nothing to do with us. It's just another false talking point of the Moors, bro. This is Muhammad III, bro. This is Muhammad VI. That's his sixth grandfather. This is his family tree. Muhammad VI right here. Muhammad III right there, bro. Like, bro, we are not no Moors, bro. Y'all need to stop teaching this to our people. Is Moor or Moorish American a nationality? What is nationality? Nationality is the legal status of belonging to a specific country or nation, usually obtained by birth or through the process of becoming a citizen. There is no country called Moor or Moorish America. Can I fly to Moorish America right now? No. Moor is not a nationality. Neither is Moorish American. Mauritanian is a nationality for citizens of Mauritania. Taharka ain't no citizen of Mauritania. Morocco is this nationality for citizens of Morocco. You're not a citizen of Morocco either. Moors have no independent nation. Taharka Bey is a paper citizen of the United States of America, like all other Black/African Americans. Moors have no independent government, currency, military, or borders. There is no country called Moorish American, Moorish America, Moor. These are not nationalities. Y'all need to stop teaching nationality because y'all don't know what it is. And we never said Black was a nationality. Genius. The Republic of New Africa and the New African Independence Movement are truly the only group to push true separation and independence through forming an actual provisional government outlining a territory for our future nation. Ask them where Moorish America was going to be and giving us a nationality to apply to said nation, which would be New African, bruh. This is the counterintelligence on Black nationalism. Show us them going against Moorish science. It says the purpose of this new counterintelligence endeavor is to expose, disrupt, misdirect, discredit, or otherwise neutralize the activities of Black nationalists, bruh. This also the COINTEL profiles. Prevent the coalition of militant Black nationalist groups, not militant Moorish science groups. Prevent the rise of a Messiah that can unify, electrify the militant Black nationalist movement, not the Moorish science movement, bro. Prevent violence on the part of Black nationalist groups, not Moorish science groups, bro. Prevent militant Black nationalist groups and leaders from gaining respectability by discrediting them. This is what you're trying to do to three separate segments of the community. The goal is discrediting Black nationalists must be handled first, the responsible Negro community. Second, they must be discredited to the white community, both the responsible community and the liberals who have vestiges and sympathies for militant Black nationalists simply because they are Negroes. Third, this group must be discredited in the eyes of Negro radicals, bruh. The final goal must be to prevent the long-range growth of militant organizations, especially among the youth. Specific tactics to prevent these groups converting young people must be developed. You can't show us the government going against Moorish science like this. Did we call ourselves Black? Yes, brother. Bilal al Sudan literally translates to the land of the Blacks in Arabic. Sudan means black. Adulawo in Yoruba means black. Farafina in Bambara means black. This is a town called Farafini in Gambia, bro. Like, y'all need to quit teaching our people lies. The Black Liberation Army, not the Moorish Science Liberation Army. It's the Black Liberation Army, who are also New Africans, bro. This is Mtayari Shabaka Sundiata, the man that actually freed Assata Shakur. Assata said they thought they killed you yesterday, but I saw you yesterday, bro. He said, how can we talk about a nation and not talk about an army? That's not realistic. Every nation has an army, so power to the people's army. The nation must come to fruition through revolutionary action. You can't show us no more scientists putting in no work like us, bro. Malcolm X had his dream, and his dream was land and nationhood. This is Assata, and his dream has become my dream. That's Black nationalism, bro, not more science, bro. This New African Pac, bro, he said, let's start our own country, bro. That's Black nationalism. Pac, when he was the chairman of the New African Panthers. Here comes the Panther with the power of the nation. This is his notebook. New Africa must be free. Tupac Shakur to the New Africa is simply rooted in his upbringing by Black Panther parents involved in the New African Independence Movement, not the Moor Science Temple movement, the New African Independence Movement, a movement aiming for a Black nation state in the U.S. South. Show us more scientists pushing nationhood and independence. You can't, bruh. This is his card, bruh. Like, bruh, Tupac Shakur, New African Panthers, national chairman, bro. Like, bro, let's stop it. And finally, let's go to who was Taharka, the real Taharka. Was he a Moor? Absolutely not. The real Taharka, spelled with a Q, was not a Moor. He was not a Moabite or a Canaanite. He was a Nubian. Taharka was a prominent Nubian pharaoh of Egypt's 25th dynasty and king of the kingdom of Kush, reigning from 690 to 664 BC. As one of the celebrated Black pharaohs, he unified Egypt and Kush, fostered a major architectural revival, and famously referenced in the Hebrew Bible as King Taharka of Kush for marching out to counter the Assyrian army. You're not even named after a Moor, bro. Why would we join your movement, bro? Moorish science can't hold a candle to Black nationalism. Let's remind y'all what Black nationalism is once and for all, bro. Black nationalism is advocacy or support for unity and political self-determination, Kujichagulia, for black people, especially in the form of a separate black nation. Moors still fly the American flag. The Republic of New Africa gave us a flag, gave us a territory, gave us a provisional government. Y'all didn't give us none of that. On top of that, y'all wasn't targeted by the government like we was, bro. Y'all cannot compete with us, bro. And I give my time, bro. Black nationalism beat Moorish science every day of the week, dude.
All right. That is the round from Good King Justice. All right. Taharka, let me know whenever you're ready, and I'll start your time.
All right. All right. This is
Get the sharing situation straight first before we.
yeah. Okay. I need to bring him down. Hold up. 1 second, family. Let me bring him down. Bam. Let me bring him down.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. All right.
All right. Let me know whenever you're ready, and I'll hit the time.
All right. Tell me when you're ready. I'm ready.
All right. There we go.
Now I'm gonna slow it down
Go.
for this one because can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Can you
you.
hear me? Okay, I'm gonna slow it
Yes.
down this time because I wanted to get a lot of information out to show the origin of the word Moor and Maury. So, but I'm gonna slow it down this time. So what King Justice did, he just illustrated a bunch of black nationalism defeat. He didn't name. He started talking about Taharka. I want y'all to remember what the debate is. What is better, black nationalism or Moorish science? According to everything he said, he mentioned a bunch of defeat, unfortunately. Now, the Moors have been defeated too with infiltration also, but you know, that's another story. Let me put this on the record real quick. The Moors of the Moorish Science Temple of America do not represent these pseudo lies that you see on the internet, and he cannot apply it to me. And to associate me with those pseudo Moors that he put in the picture is has nothing to do with the ideal that is Moorish science or black nationalism better for black people. So I'm gonna teach you some Moorish science real quick because I'm not teaching about or comparing myself to Dolo, Sharif, or anybody else. Let me teach you some more science real quick. So if you want to understand Moorish science, first you got to understand people like Kwame and Cora. You know what I'm saying? Now, he might correct me on that, but let me explain something to you. This is one guy that went from organization to nation, right? Let me give you a timeline real quick. Kwame returned to the Gold Coast and became Secretary General of the United Gold Coast Convention. 1949, he broke away. 1950, he launched the Positive Action Campaign. Now you probably say, well, why is he putting this out there? Because in order to be effective with nationalism, and you want to build on what he said, a separate black nation or a state for ourselves, a nation for ourselves, the first thing that you have to do is organize, all right? Organize. And then Nkrumah, what he did was he worked the Positive Action Campaign. It was a political strategy, nonviolent resistance, campaign nature. It was a series of political protests, boycotts, and labor strikes. The goal was to force British colonial government to grant self-governance. It used peaceful resistant models like Gandhi tactics in India. So we're talking about organizing. The organization behind the conventions, the organization behind it was the Convention People's Party. Was an actual political organization. I want you to understand it was a political organization. All right, now let's go to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Back in 1928, Prophet Noble Drew Ali organized 3,000 Moors to affect change politically. And now this is the blueprint that we use today under my leadership, Grand Sheikh Brother Taharka Bey. This is our blueprint. I'm not just saying that Prophet Noble Drew Ali did it. This is the blueprint that we are working as I speak. The 3,000 Muslims of the Grand Temple of the West Side Temple are making ready to register every man and woman in order to take the lead for the various candidates whom they have been instructed to vote for. Alderman Lewis B. Anderson, Honorable George W. Blackwell, Honorable Oscar DePriest, Honorable Robert H. Jackson, all working through the regular Republican organization, of which the Honorable Daniel M. Jackson is our matchless leader. All know the whole situation and have their own way and time to give order to go. The Muslims will be ready. Now, I want you to know what political block voting is, because when you understand Nkrumah how he moved politically, it could give you a better understanding of what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was moving from a political standpoint. But we're going to switch up to boots on the ground, a different perspective from the Moorish perspective too. But we're talking about nationalism and we're talking about a nation state. So one of the most famous people that was put into office by the Moors was Oscar Stanton DePriest. And I'm not saying only by the Moors, but the citizens of the South Side also. Oscar Stanton DePriest received those 3,000 votes that the Prophet was talking about, was an American politician and civil rights advocate from Chicago, a member of the Illinois Republican Party, had served as U.S. representative from Illinois' 1st Congressional District from 1929 to 1935. It was 29 when he was put in office by the Moors. Well, the Moors assisted. He was the first, and I'm going to use the term for the sake of the argument, African American to be elected to Congress in the 20th century. You know what that means? It means before the Reconstruction, nobody else came through Congress, and this brother came through by the way of the Moors. Now, let's shift gears. That's a political way. That's called nationalism as it relates to taking the political angle, as a lot of people in our African countries do. They take the political angle or they even go to war. But let me go with this angle now. Now, the other side of nationalism, you're talking about the Moors didn't have, and well, let me tell you the blueprint of the Prophet. This comes from a 1928 article, a 1929 article, January 1929 article. The following letter of the many received guide relative to establish of a Moorish town, owned, completely and operated by those belongs to the Moorish Science Temple of America. Islam, in response to your question as concerning the Moors having their own town homes, we will honor to the Prophet, who is going to give us something of our own, and we all going to do all our power to help build the Moorish Science Temple of America so that we have something of our own. Now, this is just a commentary from a member of that time, but what I want to show you is what makes the Moorish Science Temple of America blueprint so unique for our people is in 1928-29, there was a Moorish athletic club. You know what I'm saying? You know, like the YMCA, this is to help the children. You know what I'm saying? From 1425, it say, by the consent of our beloved Prophet, I am endeavoring to organize within our midst an athletic club. The club is for the young brothers between the ages 14 and 25. We got infiltrated, so things have changed. Also, let me go to this. There was a Moorish welfare. You know how you got to go and get some SNAP EBT? See, we're building on this blueprint under my leadership. You know what I'm saying? See, when you pull up Sharif and you pull up all them other people, they're not building on Moorish science ideal. I am. So talk about me. You know what I mean? One of the most outstanding activities of the Moorish Science Temple of America in the past 2 weeks is the grand ball and reception at Charleston, West Virginia, Saturday, January 26th. This affair, attended by a large portion of citizenry of the town, was given under the auspices of the Moorish Welfare Club. The Moorish Welfare Club. In other words, you know, you can come and get what you need when you don't have. All right. And then listen, I am taking this opportunity on this last one. I'm taking this opportunity to thank those who have answered our advertisement relative to the Moors having their own town, aldermen, police, judges, etc. Do that sound like subservient? Our own town. See, there's a process to get to that. And I'm not going to give you all of it on social media, but there's a process, and we're working that process. The Prophet is looking forward to establishing this town in connection with a large farm during the year of 1929. Hence, 1929, he was murdered. All right. And we haven't recovered yet, but I'm here now. All right. The original Uber Eats. All right. You know Uber Eats, family? Press 7 if you know Uber Eats. Grocery store at Chicago under new management. The grocery store at Chicago. This is a whole society we're talking about. The grocery store at Chicago is under new management and doing very good under the business. Employ boys and young women of its own group and its temple. So when it says of its own group, we're talking about our quote unquote black brothers and sisters, those who are of the temple, those who are not. Just for the respective understanding, when we use own group, we're talking about our own people. They carry the most select and choice goods to be gotten on the south side of Chicago. One could be readily accommodated if he phones in his order. If he phones in his order, 1929, if he phones in his order, and in a short while, they will act at your door with the food stuff. That's Uber Eats 1929, brother. Let me tell you what happened. They assassinated the Prophet Noble Drew Ali because we was moving on. Not only was we moving on a political angle, but we was also moving on an angle that we build it from the ground, and then we move like other people that grows out of a nationality or a nation. So this is why you see temple tax necessary. We was building, and we're going to be continue to build it under my leadership. So when you're talking about national black nationalism, let me tell you what black nationalism is in terminology of Moorish science. The Moorish Science Temple of America structures as a provisional government though acts in the capacity as a temple, place of religion, a civic organization, and a nationalist movement. What you're looking at with the arrow pointed to is a flyer from 1929. It says the Moorish Divine and National Movement. So when you're talking about nationalism, let me give you the core of nationalism. I don't know how much time I got, but when you talk about when you're talking about a provisional government,
5 minutes left.
when you're talking about a provisional government, you're talking about something in place to overlap. Let me just read a little bit. A provisional government, also called as an interim, emergency, or transitional government, is a temporary government formed to manage a period of transition, often following the state of collapse, revolution, civil war, or some combination of both. I want you to hear me clear. A provisional government, also as an interim, emergency and transitional government. Let me break down the Moorish Science Temple of America for you. So when you look at the government of the United States, you got three branches of government. You got the legislative, executive, and judicial. Family, get it out your mind with the pseudo-Moors then told you, follow me, I got you. I mean, you got three forms of government. Well, the Moorish Science Temple of America is set up the same way. It's three branches of the Moorish government, but I said it's structured. It's not a provisional government per se, but the Moorish Science Temple of America organization is structured as a government. This is why we have governors, et cetera, but we have the grand body, which consists of grand governors and grand sheiks. We have the executive, grand sheik and chairman. That'll be myself, the grand sheik and chairman. And then we have the assistant grand sheik, which is my brother, the beautiful Daniels Bey. Then we got the secretary of treasury and the whole cabinet to that. This is how the Prophet Noble Drew Ali set it up, not me. And then we have the judicial side, the Supreme Grand Council. The Supreme Grand Council interpret the laws. We're talking about society, brother. You're talking about nationalism. We're talking about building a society, a government. This was set up and they was living in this in 1920s, all right? Yeah, we got infiltrated and got knocked off. Okay, but we back through Taharka Bey. Now, let me show you something. When you're talking about nationality, right? Matter of fact, I'm not even going to address your nationality claim because you obviously don't know what nationality is. But anyway, a Franco-American, that's mean a person from France. It's American citizen or resident who was born in France, an American citizen or resident whose ancestors were from France. And so when we say Moorish American, we're saying our ancestors, all right? Our ancestors are from the ancient Mauritania, as I told you, Moor, you know, Bagger, yeah, Bagger, that guy, yeah, they're our ancestors, all right. See, look, when you look at things, man, listen, I can go on and on. So let me go back up here because I want to revisit this real quick. The structure of the Moorish Science Temple of America is very clear, right? When you look at the newest countries of the world, right? They grew out of other countries. So when you say Moorish American is not a nationality, none of these countries was a nationality before they grew out of it. Well, they were in their own doings. They were in their own self-identification. They were, but you're waiting for the European to rubber stamp something. See, the Moorish American is not waiting for the European to rubber stamp something. And hold up. Let me address the thing where you say that we are citizen. You fly American flag. You're American citizen just like I am. What are you talking about? Don't play crazy. That's the most, you talk about Moors as pseudo? That's pseudo to claim that you're not American citizen. Anybody that is American citizen is under the flag of the United States, whether you fly it or not. So you can say whatever you want. I mean, now, back to my other point real quick. When you're looking at the government of the Moorish Science Temple of America, 2 minutes. So the government works like this of the Moorish Science Temple, or the interim government, or the Moorish Science Temple of America. This is in the temple. We operate like this. You got the Supreme Grand Sheikh, which was me, Emily Ill. That's my position now. You got the Supreme Grand Publicity Director. This is during the time of the Prophet. You have, so we can make sure our lessons get taught right above the airways, on the airways. That's the Publicity Director. This is 1929. These positions still is working today. Supreme Grand Business Manager. This operates as a cabinet, just like a government. Supreme Grand Treasurer. This is the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's wife. All right. We have convention every year. Matter of fact, you should pull up in October. We got ours in October. You follow me? And now, during the time of the Prophet, there was 15 temples. All of these temples act as if independent states, independent embassies, and the intent was to grow them forth and make the change into government entities. But now you want to listen to the pseudo Moors, you don't know that. Now back to my point. Let me reiterate this for my time run out. There's 3 branches of government in the United States. You got executive, legislative, executive, and judicial. In the Moorish Science Temple of America, as the provisional government. No, it's just the Moorish Science Temple of America. Y'all too religious. Well, let me tell you something. The legislative represents the grand body. The executive represents the grand sheik and chairman. That be to me, my brother. And then the Supreme Grand Council represents the judicial system to make sure people stay inside the laws that we need to govern our stuff as a society. So when you're talking about black nationalism, you're all over the place. You have no order. You have no structure. You have no goal. You have no plan. You actually have no blueprint. I just gave you the blueprint of nationalism, which we can call Moorish, black, whatever national you want to call it, but it's a foolproof blueprint that actually worked until it was infiltrated. But I'm here to see it through the day. This is the nationalism that will work for our people, whether they use Moorish or they use it under another term. But they better organize and they better structure themselves. And when one go out, the other one got to step up. Peace.
All right. So I'm going to reset the time. 2.5 minute rebuttal. Justice, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready, bro.
All right, hold on. All right, let's go.
All right, first of all, you said we admitted I showed a whole bunch of defeat, and then you literally said the same thing about the Moors. About y'all, we got infiltrated and all this nonsense. Third of all, you called me pseudo after you jumped out the window yesterday about the pseudo thing. About
my bad, bro.
No. I don't want to hear, bro. You said I'm pseudo for saying that y'all are citizens of America when I literally said in my slide that every Black American or African American is a paper citizen of the United States of America.
But we agree on that. My bad.
No, you can't interrupt me, bro. So me calling me a new African, that's just the equivalent of you saying you a Moorish American, basically, with nationality. Third of all, we have a real provisional government that's still active today. We got a president. We don't got all this pseudo nonsense. Since you invited it into the conversation, I'm just saying, nah, we ain't got all this conjecture. We have an active government today. Not only do we have a government, provisional government, we got the New African Workers Union that's spearheaded by myself and your boy Ghazi, who you love. Yeah, so, and he said he won't end on this. Yeah, General Ghazi. He said if we ever do a round 2 and you got a crony you want to bring on board, we can do it again, because I'm with that too. But you calling us pseudo and saying that we got infiltrated, bro, and then literally saying the same thing about your own movement is crazy and insane, bro. Y'all don't have no independent nation. And majority of Moors, you may be for independence and nationhood, but majority of y'all are absolutely not. And even if you say that you are, you don't be pushing no nationhood and independence, bro. Let's be real, bro. Like, and that's I yield my time. That's all I got to say.
All right. Let me know when you're ready, Taharka.
All right. Now I'm gonna talk this one out. He says I don't be pushing nationhood.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, let's go. Go ahead.
So as you can see, he dropped the ball. But I apologize for calling this pseudo. But what I mean to say is that I agree with the American citizen thing. I'm not tripping off that. And I don't get with them pseudo Moors because they're misinformed. I follow the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. This is what I'm explaining to you. I'm not explaining to you internet Moors. Now, number one, you said you have a president. You should have named your president. Number two, if you're talking about black nationalism, you should have showed your structure. You should have laid out the whole structure and show how black nationalism can work for people. I laid out the structure of the Moorish Science Temple of America that is a divine and national movement. You don't have to accept that, but there's a concrete structure there. You didn't show anything. All you did was go on and on and on and on. And then you talk about Ghazi and all that. You talk about Sharif and all that. Now, let me say this. The Moorish Science Temple of America is predicated upon nationhood, hence the term nationality. Nationality is predicated upon nationhood. And then before you can go into nationhood, you must have solid structure. You must have solid provisions in order to move into it. But what you did, you just went on and on and on and on and on, and you didn't show nothing. And so black nationalism is just that. It's a bunch of, look what what's the name did. Look what the COINTELPRO did. Yes, we was infiltrated too, but I didn't focus on that. I focused on the blueprint to take us from individualistic mindset into community, into, I showed the Moorish town that Moors was the Prophet Noble Drew Ali talked about. We talk about that. We work towards that today. You know what I'm saying? I talked about all the businesses that creates a community. I could have went all the way on. And talked about how we admit into marriage, this is how society work. You showed nothing about society. You showed nothing about that. All you did was talk about Tupac, COINTELPRO, Ghazi. I showed you structure. I showed you everything that it takes for a group of people to walk into nationhood. You showed me nothing but rhetoric. That's all you did. Peace.
Time. All right. So that concludes round 2. Now we're going to be going into the third round, the third and final round. So I guess we could keep the same format with Justice going first, but we're going to do a question and answer. Justice will ask 3 questions, and they will be a total of 3 minutes as far as 3-minute answers, 3 minutes per question, I guess. All right. So what do you guys want? It's up to you guys. Do you want to do Justice ask 1, then you get 3 minutes to answer, then you ask 1, Justice get 3 minutes to answer? Do you want to do it that way?
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool with me.
That's fine.
All right, we'll do it that way. All right. So, all right, hold on. Let me get the time ready. All right. So, Justice, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, let's go.
The Republic of New Africa, who was direct students of Malcolm X, outlined our territory where we wanted our nation to be, and it was in the Black Belt of the South. So you say you for nationhood and independence and separation. Where is Moorish America supposed to be at?
Again, when you brother, please don't cut me off. Again, what I gave you was the blueprint. I'm not going to give you a fictitious land that you don't govern. You don't govern. Nobody governs that land except for the United States government and the local municipalities. You don't control the electricity on the land. Put up the book again. You don't control the electricity. You don't control the sewage. You don't control anything on that land right there. Nothing. You are claiming. You know what you're doing? You're false flagging. You know what I mean? You're hopeful. See, the difference is we're practical. We give a blueprint to how the structure is supposed to be, and then we move on the structure, and then everything else follows. You know what I mean? What you're doing is you're showing a landmass you don't govern. You don't take taxes, nor do you make roads. You don't get running water to nobody. You don't get electricity to nobody. So you can show a landmass all you want, but it's insignificant in the real conversation. It's a book with a picture on it that has nothing to do with you. You cannot, unless you have occupied that militarily, unless you have occupied that as a group of people telling people you run it now, you don't own nothing. So that's just rhetoric.
Let me intercede real quick because I think we have 1 minute left. I think the question is, The Republic of New Africa has 5 states that they
I'm
say,
saying they
okay,
don't have 5 states, and the
no, no,
Moorish Science Temple of
no,
America
no,
don't
no,
either.
hold
I didn't say that.
on. 5 states with their and with plans to liberate these 5 states is with. I guess he's asking, does the Moorish Science Temple have a specific place in what we call America where they will
No.
create this nation?
Wherever our temples reside, that's where we will start. I will not make up a fictitious place where we don't have where we don't have.
No.
No, we don't. We have temples, and these temples is where we start at. We own the
So
temple.
you have no plan to liberate any land.
Let me.
Means you're
Are
not
you going to let me
national.
finish, brother? Are you going to let me finish? Are you going to let me finish, brother? Can I get my time right?
Yeah.
Listen, what I'm telling you. What I'm saying is, we don't live in fantasy. We develop temples, and our temples becomes the embassies, and the land around that becomes ours. We work towards making that ours, and that's where the liberation funnels through. You don't own nothing. You're just earmarking something down the south that you have no control of. Where we have temples, it is us that will run that. It is us that will own that. It will us to bring autonomy to that area, to that land as we develop. You see what I'm saying? So we got one in Baltimore. We got one in Detroit. All of these things are works in progress, but you don't own nothing. You don't own nothing. You don't own none of that land. We own stuff.
All right. Well,
no, my people got 120 acres in Mississippi right now.
We're not talking about the Mississippi. We're talking about that circumference that you just showed us.
This is Mississippi, genius.
We're not talking about that.
All right, hey guys, hold on. All right, so we're gonna go to the next question. Taharka, your turn to ask a question to Justice.
A simple question: Do you the what you showed on the book? Do the African liberation people that you're talking about, do they own, control, and manage that land and the resources completely without interference?
I can give you the same answer that you just gave me. The plan is to liberate the land. That's why it's called Free the Land. That is the whole slogan of the Republic of New Africa, genius. We picked the black belt because that's why our people are most concentrated. To free the land, we have to build roads, hospitals, grocery stores, farms. We already got some farms. We got to build infrastructure along with a military apparatus, a security apparatus to protect that land, bro. We are still, like I said in my slides and presentation, paper citizens of the United States of America, just like Moorish Americans. Y'all don't control no land. We don't control no land, genius. So you got to hold us up to the same critique that you hold yourself up to. Y'all don't control anything. We at least have a map of where we want our liberated nation to be. Y'all don't even got that, bro. And that is my answer.
Okay. All right. So
I just told you we own stuff, but okay.
No, y'all don't.
I think
y'all don't control nothing in Baltimore, Chicago, or Detroit.
Just for context, for the listening audience, the Republic of New Africa obviously is a liberation movement. Liberation movements are designed to free something from the strongholds of a colonial power.
Right.
And when it comes to the Moorish Science Temple, would you say that's a part of the ideology as far as
that's the complete ideology? That's the total ideology. And that's the first ideology for our people in America. The first.
Black nationalism becomes before Moorish science.
Okay, so context. I'm sorry, not context. Question number 2. Justice.
Can you, without a doubt, show that any of your ancestors come from Mauritania or Morocco?
No, I can't. Now let me. Bro, stop being a goofy, bro. Bro, stop being a goofy, bro. Stop being a goofy. Let me explain, bro. Stop being a goofy, bro. Stop being a goofy, because I'm going to get goofy with you, bro. Let me answer.
We
Hey,
already
no, we not.
good.
We did good for 2 rounds. Like
Man, he got dragged.
let's
Let me finish.
I said we did
So
good for two
so
rounds.
let
Keeping it
me
civil.
explain. Let me
Okay.
explain this. Let me explain this. The Moor in America, the Moorish American, does not have to directly attach a relative in Mauritania or anything. That would be just like asking an Italian that didn't even go to the slave trade, that been here for 5, 6, or 20 generations. However, they've been over here, and you say, and they say that I'm Italian American, and you say, do you know somebody in Italy? That standard doesn't work with nationality. You know what I'm saying? If a person is from France and they've been here since the first coming over through Ellis Island, and they cannot associate family in France, that does not make them not Franco-American. That doesn't make them not Franco-American. They acknowledge their ancestry as the connection. And all groups of people in America, which they call as the melting pot, are using the same process. They never forget their ancestry, but they never, ever, most of them do not have, Chinese people in America do not have a direct link to somebody personal that lives on a block in China after 5, 6, or 20 generations. Most of them don't. Most of them don't.
All right. Taharka Bey, would you like to ask? Go ahead and so hold on. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Taharka Bey, go ahead and ask Good King Justice a question.
Do you got some family in West Africa that you can dial up right quick? Because you claim you West African. Show me.
No, but I can show you literally on the 1880 census what my third great grandfather comes from Africa right now.
No, I asked you a specific question. Can you show me a specific relative in West Africa?
Living relative, no.
Thank you. That's it.
All right. Last and final question, Justice, and then you'll get your last and final question to Harker after this.
How many members does the Moorish Science Temple of America that you part of actually have right now? Part of y'all movement.
One thing I'm not going to do is disclose that, just like I'm not going to disclose the whole blueprint. Why would I do that? We at war. I wouldn't do that, brother. And I wouldn't ask you to. And I would no. I'm not at war with you, brother. See, you talking. I'm never at war with my brother. I'm saying
America not at war with y'all. They not worried about the Moorish Science Temple.
No, they worried about us as a people, brother. So that means they worried about us as a people. And any way that we find to get out of this condition, they are monitoring. So there's no way that I will give you the full structure of the Moorish Science Temple of America on these airwaves. No way I will give you numbers of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I would suggest that you don't do the same. They're just not up. They're not against me because I proclaim more. They against me because we are the people that are destined to rule once again. Whether you call yourself Moor, whether you call yourself African-centered, whether you call yourself Commission, it doesn't matter. We are the threat. So there's no way humanly possible that I would acknowledge that question. I would advise you not to answer a question like that either on these airways. They're not specifically targeting Moors. They're targeting us as a people, regardless of what you call yourself. All right?
All right. Do you want to go ahead and ask Justice your last and final question?
You got dogs, bro.
I'm gonna drop the mic.
You got dogs, man.
So listen. So listen.
Like Sunny listed, fam.
So listen. I don't have any more questions, but I'll make a comment.
Well, I was going to say, well, let's make it. Let's have a closing argument, and then we can wrap it up. Closing argument from each one.
I go ahead, brother.
2-3 minutes.
Closing argument. The biggest threat against the government was always black nationalism, which is actual nation creation. Our most prominent people came in the name of black nationalism, which was Martin Delaney, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Khaled. They got that one video with Khaled talking about more. We got hundreds to thousands of him talking about black nationalism. So yeah, y'all was never no threat. Let's be real. Y'all ain't outlined no land. Y'all don't have no real provisional government. We got all of that, and you talk about you wouldn't speak about that. Yeah, just like I didn't speak about who our president is and who our cabinet is. I gave you the New African Workers Union. And if you really want to tap into nationhood and independence and you interested in the Republic of New Africa, yeah, we hold the New African Workers Union call every other Sunday. Just get with me, hit me in the DMs, and I'll get you the links and everything. But yeah, all I got to say is Moorish science has to die because y'all teach too much pseudo information to our youth and impressionable minds. Yeah, y'all got Malachi York that's attached to y'all and a bunch of other ridiculous nincompoops, bro. You might be a good, decent-hearted brother, but you picked the wrong ideology. I'm sorry. You should have been a black nationalist and then a 5%er with some real knowledge of self, and maybe you would have got somewhere, but you ain't gonna go nowhere with this red fez nonsense you on, bro. And I yield the mic.
All right. All right. That's all right. All right. Now, Taharka, your closing arguments.
See, brothers sound like typical COINTELPRO type rhetoric. Let me tell you why I say that. I don't think you COINTELPRO, but you sound like COINTELPRO rhetoric due to the simple fact that you bring a bunch of rhetoric, but you don't bring no substance. When we talking about nationhood, I didn't ask you to tell me who your president was. I stand up forward and tell you that no. What I'm saying is when you bring in your argument, you should show your blueprint. You know what I'm saying? At least show that the structure exists. But you didn't do any of that. You went on to talk about Tariq. You talk about Malachi Z. York. Family, let me remind you. The argument is Moor an exonym? It's not an exonym. It's not an exonym. The original, brother, can you please stop, bro? Can you please stop, bro? Can you please stop, bro? This is how you know he got whipped, because he keep cutting me off. And I'm usually the one cut people off. The question was Moorish exonym or Moor exonym? The answer is no, it's not an exonym. The reason why, because it originated with King Baga, the king of Mauritania. And when the Romans came, it already existed. Then it transferred from Moor to Moro to Mori and to on and on and on in these European tongues. So it's not an exonym. Now, if you want to talk about an exonym, black is an exonym. African is an exonym. These things are exonyms to identify people. Mori is definitely not an exonym. It's definitely black. And nationalism
Moor is not the debate. We said it's more an exonym.
More is a transliteration of the word. It's the same word under a different tongue. So don't try to move the goalposts. Don't try to move the goalposts. Don't try to move the goalposts, bro. That's it, man. That's it, man. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Hey, look,
you gotta cut me up. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. You gotta do better, bro.
No, look, we
go make 100 TikTok videos, bro. You gotta do better, bro.
Hey, we got through the debate civilly. Y'all both presented your information. Don't y'all, you know what I'm saying? Let's leave it how it is, you know what I'm saying? And piece it up. You know what I mean? And you know, let the audience be the judge.
Hey, bro, won't you send out your let's do this. Why don't you send out your what's they called, your social medias, bro? Won't you do that? Man, won't you let people know where you at, bro? Because I'm about to send mine.
I'm the good King Justice on everything, man. They know all that.
So look, family, let me tell y'all something, family. I had so much. I had so many slides and so much information, but I couldn't fit it in. I couldn't fit it in like I wanted to, but I will tell you, coming soon, you'll be able to purchase the book. That's right. I'm gonna give it to you like it's supposed to be. You'll be able to purchase the book. More don't mean black. It'll be available in October. It'll go up for pre-sale soon, because we really need to dismantle this bad information when it comes to Moor. And so I got a whole book with all the sources. Everything I said tonight is in the book with sources. And so, family, if you are a Moorish World TV citizens, I'm gonna make sure everybody get a code. Hold on one second. Let me show y'all something. I want to make sure everybody get a code to be able to get it on discount, because I think it's very important that people understand real history before the 15th century. And so, real quick, and I'll shut it down with this. Um, Let me show the screen share real quick. Um, so this is what it'll be. You know, more don't mean black. Black is not a nationality. Everything I
Moor is not
said,
a nationality.
everything that I said in this presentation and much more. The only difference is that in this book, you're going to have all the receipts. You're going to have everything that you could ever hope for to really make the connection. You're going to go all the way back. I got the Tefna alphabet. I got the Amazon language in there. I got everything in there to connect to the original term Maori that was developed into the term we use as Moor. So be on the lookout for that, family. And I thank y'all for all your support as always.
Peace. And
Peace.
y'all, make sure y'all subscribe to Wazadome TV as well, man. That's my platform. I interview some of the best scholars in the world weekly. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all tap in. Peace.
Peace.
Free the land.